Oh boy, where do I start?
What's your favorite color?
I don't have a favorite color.
You're lame.
Yeah, I'm an immigrant like the rest of them.
Nice. Well done. Great start.
Good start.
Yeah.
Eh?
Have you ever had that where obviously you've had it where you've had to plug your toilet at work?
Yeah. There's been a number of occasions where that's happened. I've even walked in on somebody's little turtle looking up at me, which is not very nice either.
But Tim went for another job interview, and Dad had this to say. I think he had this to say, and I'm quoting, "Well, you don't need tits for that job." Tim always adjusts the knobs, and I'm like, "What are you doing? I don't know what the fuck you're actually doing." So you could stand to be a little bit louder.
A little bit louder?
Yeah, you can speak
louder.
Just speak louder.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we generally just go in, like we just start talking, and then Tim will magically just edit it in. But since we're amateurs here, we don't know exactly what we're doing.
Yeah, exactly. So let's first of all start off with a beer.
Cheers. Some of Tim's beer. So, welcome back to the Wonder Boys podcast. Except it's Wonder Boy with Wonder Man. We finally have the man, the myth, the legend.
The man, the myth, the legend, the lumps.
The lumpy man.
The lumpy man.
So if you think my accent's really bad, wait until he starts talking. Now I sound like a little leprechaun.
Yeah.
We have Peter May. We have our Tim and I's father
figure.
Yeah, on the microphone.
And if anybody can't understand the accent, sorry. This is what I was born with. I tamed it down a little bit for the general public, but this is it. It's as good as it gets.
It's still all the way from the north of England, so maybe you can tell us a little bit about yourself. And wait, how was your week?
My week was okay. My week was pretty good. I did the same shit, different day, basically. I just worked all week. No curling this week. I'm a curler. I did enjoy watching it on the Olympics, but Canada didn't do very well, so we'll just leave that right there. But no curling for me. Next week our playoffs start, so it's all good. But otherwise, work, and that was it, really. A little bit about me. Oh, boy. Where do I start?
What's your favorite color?
I don't have a favorite color.
You're lame.
I'm an immigrant like the rest of them.
Nice. Well done. Great start.
Good start.
Yeah.
But yeah, born in the UK. Been all over. Bit here, there, everywhere. I'm not going to go into any details, but ended up in Canada. Love it here. And that's pretty much it.
This is where you're going to stay. This is where you're going to die.
Yeah.
There we go. Cool. So Peter, the reason here, I'm going to call you Dad. I can't call you Peter.
Go for it.
It's so weird to say, like, Dad, Peter. The reason we're doing this is because Timothy, he hates it when he gets called Timothy, so don't call him Timothy. Tim decided that he had more important things to do and went off and to give you a bit of background, I drive to Ladner to come and do the podcast, and it's about a 30-minute drive for me to come do the podcast. And so I got here around our regular scheduled time on a Sunday, and Tim decided to just not be here and didn't let me know that he was not going to be here and didn't communicate to say, oh, can we do it another day or anything? Nope. So he's not here. So this is the first time I'm doing the podcast without him. And we're just going to tear him a new one for
not being here.
For not being here. First of all, for not messaging me.
Yeah.
So I sent a message saying I'm on my way to Ladner and it takes 30 minutes to get here. So he had 30 minutes to reply, and he didn't.
No.
Because he sucks at communication. The first thing I got here and looked at you, Dad, and you're like, what are you doing here?
Yeah, I didn't expect you to be here because, he said basically this morning, he said, no, I haven't heard anything, so that was it.
So I'm just not going to message him, and I'll just hopefully he doesn't show up.
Yeah.
So, the big idiot that he was. So that'll be the rage cage to start. We'll open I have a couple of ragey topics. So we'll open the rage cage with Tim's communication skills being lackluster. And I know he's going to come on next week and be like, yeah, but Lucas, you don't have very good communication skills either. So, Dad, what is your review of Tim's communication skills?
Sucks.
Great. Out of 5, what would you rate them?
Oh, I think it's a 2.
2.
Somewhere around there, yeah. Seems to be pretty good about talking about me on the podcast, but actually to me, no, that's a whole different story.
What is one thing about Tim that pisses you off in the house? No, you know what? 2 things that piss you off about Tim.
Oh, that's tough. 2 things that piss me off about Tim in the house?
Like just in general.
In general.
Your own kid, you get to ream him out here.
Oh, boy. No, I can't think of anything right off the bat like that.
We'll let you.
Let me think about it,
and I'll bring it up. I'll bring it up again. So continuing the rage cage. So I had to. Actually, I have a couple of things here. First one being, so I've started a new job. I'm working at a new job recently, and it's in the office environment. And I went to go relieve myself and take a shit this week. And as I'm there taking a dumperoo, I'm just minding my own business and what have you. Finish up my business, clean myself up all nice and press the flusher. And in general, water's supposed to go down and disappear and take your things with it. But this particular time, it did not, which means that the previous user of the lavatory that I was using had left quite a significant load in it. So here I am, 3rd week in my new job. I'm plunging the toilet. Thank God this toilet had a plunger in it, because I know at my old office we didn't have a plunger right in. That's
lucky in a work environment to pick up a plunger. Not usually there.
Exactly. So I was thinking, I'm like, I was physically angry, standing there being like, you motherfucker, whoever this was, obviously pressed the flusher, saw the water disappear, but none come back, and be like,
I'm out of here.
Exactly. I've had enough of this shit. I'm done. No pun intended. Yeah. So that was my first rage. Have you ever had that where you've had it where you've had to plunge in the toilet at work?
Yeah. There's been a number of occasions where that's happened. I've even walked in on somebody's little turtle looking up at me, which is not very nice either. You know, that's even worse, to be honest. Then you got I gotta go, and you hope there's another empty stall somewhere else. But yeah, it happens. It happens.
It was kind of gross because it wasn't his coming back up. It was my own remaining, just sitting there. Yeah, just looking me up.
Well, now then, that brings me to a good story.
Good,
because Tim. Since we
perfect.
Yeah, since we're having a go at Tim because he's not here, right? Tim is notorious for doing this to toilets. Or he used to be. I mean, I haven't experienced it recently. But I have been away on vacation with Tim, and he has managed to block a hotel toilet. And there was no plunger. So I said to him, you need to go down the reception and organize something. He wouldn't do it. So in the end, I had to go down to a reception and say, look, we blocked the toilet. Do you have anything? This woman hands me a plunger in a plastic carrier bag so I could go up and unblock the toilet. How about that?
Did you make him do it?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, good.
I did. He did it in the end. He just didn't want to go down and admit that he was the one who'd blocked this thing up. But he's pretty good at blocking toilets.
And just pooping and leaving the poop.
Bigger than the average dump,
What did you used to call him? A 2-day baker. That's what you used to call him.
2-day bakers. Nice and solid. They don't bend. They don't nothing. They've been up there too long baking.
They're not going around the bend too easy.
No.
So another thing I was just talking about, my other rage cage about The Office is, we already talked a little bit downstairs and I gave you a couple of reviews, but one thing I didn't talk about was people who sneeze obnoxiously. So there's a lady who sits near me, and even you're wearing those headphones right now, my headphones that I wear at work. They're pretty good. When you listen to music, they cancel a lot of noise out from outside.
Right.
It's very difficult to hear things around you,
Yeah.
which is great when you want to concentrate and think and work. But so this lady who sits around me, I have those headphones on, and she happens to sneeze, but not just like, like, oh, sorry, everybody, I didn't know. She was like, that's you! I was like, what the fuck? I took the headphones off. I was like, what? I like looked at her, and she like kind of looked back at me, and I like kind of give her a look like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Like, you just sprayed
everywhere.
Like, I'm sure your cone of dissonance or whatever that's called just...
Did you see this
I didn't see any spew, but I definitely could feel it. I don't... Yeah.
You reckon she didn't have time to get the protective equipment in place to stop this spray going everywhere then?
You would think that the first time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Then she obnoxiously...
She did it again.
So I was like, she just does this as... Maybe it's an attention-seeking...
Yeah. Look at me, I've got a cold.
Look at me. And I literally wanted to stand up and be like, if you're sick, go home. Yeah, I don't have time to get sick around you because you're too fucking important to be here.
Yeah. Plus, you need to bring up, I'm a contractor. I don't get paid for sick days.
Exactly. If I don't work, I don't get paid. If I don't show up, I don't get paid.
That's it.
Oh, and I mentioned this one as well, the people around me. So, with the time of recording this, it's... what date are we actually? We're the 25th of February today.
Yeah.
And the time of recording this, it's the 25th of February. And it snowed on Friday. So...
It did.
It's kind of... It's winter outside. It's definitely winter outside.
Yeah.
The thing that really grinds me is when people come inside to the office from outside. They're like, oh, it's so cold outside. And you're like, fucking duh.
Yeah.
It's cold outside. Yeah. Why?
Why wouldn't it be? It's snowing.
It's snowing.
It's a prerequisite.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, did you think it was going to be warm? It's February in Canada. It's not like, came in. You know what? I would honestly, the information that I want to hear is if you come inside from outside, and it's the middle of February, I want you to say, hey, it's very warm outside, guys. You should be out there. It's February. I know it's weird. I don't want you to tell me that water is wet.
Yeah.
I don't need that kind of information. The minute water is dry, you let me know.
Little sidebar off that.
Do it.
A little, not a rage cage, but a little thing that grinds my gears at the moment. There's an ad on TV for Alexa.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Amazon's Alexa.
I don't know whether you've seen it. Yeah, Amazon's Alexa. Well, anyway, there's this young lady in her house staring out of the window at the snow. And she goes, Alexa, what's the weather? Sorry, when we get to this point, there's no hope for this society. You know, we're looking at the weather, yet we have to ask a machine what the weather is. Maybe a rage or whatever, I don't know.
A rage cage.
Maybe a little millennial dig. Maybe. I don't know.
That's definitely a millennial thing.
I think so.
Do you think you'll ever get an Alexa or a Google Home or something like that?
I don't know.
You won't?
I don't think I will. I don't see the need for them. I mean, could you give me some advantages for those? I just don't get it at the moment.
You can have an existential conversation with a computer.
That's it. I'm quite happy with my own company, you know. To talk to someone else, that's maybe going to respond and do some stuff for me. It's bad enough in the car. I'm just kind of I've just got a new car, by the way, but I'm getting the hang of this voice control in the car, and I ask a question and she answers, and then she has to put this light on, speak now. But of course, I've already spoken by that point in time. Yeah. It's too late, you know. So I'm old school, trying to still catch up with this new technology. But maybe it'll come. I don't know.
The only advantage I can see is I do use my phone for this already. As I set reminders, so you can say, "Okay, Google."
Oh. There it did.
Remind me tomorrow morning to do my laundry.
All right.
Sure, I'll remind you tomorrow at 8 a.m.
There you go. So I'll do stuff like that.
That's kind of good.
But that would be the only reason I could.
Yeah, and I've never used that. Funny enough, we were on a meeting Friday morning, a bunch of us online meeting as they do, And obviously, we're all sitting in our offices, kitchens, God knows what. The job I do, everybody works remotely from home. So this one guy was talking about somebody he was liaising with in another company called Alexi.
Okay. So not Alexa, Alexi.
Alexi.
Okay.
But of course, Alexa didn't hear the Alexi. She heard Alexa. So in the middle of the meeting, Alexa starts saying, "Sorry, I didn't hear that." What did you... That was really funny.
Sorry, I didn't catch that. Do you want to order 70 rolls of toilet paper? No, I didn't. Not even a little bit.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, wow.
So that was funny. In the middle of the meeting, we all just cracked up. Because...
Well, there was that. There was a Burger King commercial or something from a few. I think it was Burger King, but it was like their ad was like, "Hey Alexa," and then their ad said it, and everyone's Alexas in their homes went, "I'm sorry, I didn't catch that." Or there was another one where they caused like a bunch of Amazon Alexas to order actual things for them. It's like, oh, that's a bit scary.
Yeah, that's scary.
Now I got my reminder up.
See, we went to sidebar then, and
Yeah, I always it's half the fun of doing the podcast with Tim. It tends to, when you do a sidebar with Tim, you never end up coming back to the original topic. It's like, what were we talking about again? I don't know. We should keep track of that.
Yeah, I should keep.
But we don't. So, do you know what a celiac is? Someone who has celiac disease.
Yeah, it's a wheat intolerance, isn't it?
It's a gluten intolerance.
Gluten intolerance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So those people are actually diagnosed with having issues actually metabolizing gluten and the proteins that are in gluten.
Right.
Do you know what gluten is, Dad?
No, to be brutally honest.
And you know what? If I asked someone who said they're eating gluten-free, they'd probably say the exact same thing. Did you know that? This has driven me nuts for a long time. And I actually listened to a podcast this week called Sick Boy, where they actually interviewed someone with celiac disease. And they talked to her and asked her questions about like what she has to do. So she can't eat.
Right.
She can eat gluten. Like,
yeah,
she can. Just 3 to 4 hours later, she's going to projectile vomit.
Oh, that's brutal.
Right. So without fail, her body will just say, "I can't deal with this," and I'm sending it back.
And he's sending it back.
It's something, So the reason it takes 3 to 4 hours is it's not to do with it in the stomach, because those gluten isn't broken down in the stomach.
Right.
It's broken down in the small intestines and large intestine.
Right.
I'm assuming it's the small intestine, actually. And that's why it takes 3 to 4 hours for her to respond to it, because it's basically just it's going down the system.
It's gone through the stomach already. It's now...
It's getting processed.
Down at the business end.
Yeah, it's almost at the business end. It's getting processed. And the body's like, send it back. We don't want that. This is a factory default. Send it back. But people who eat, this trend that's come up is gluten-free products, which is great for people who have celiac disease.
Yes, right? It is, yeah.
Everything now is being made gluten-free, gluten this, gluten that. But you ask the number of people that you ask who I'm eating gluten-free. And actually, I know someone who eats gluten-free by choice. I don't think they ever listen to this podcast, so anyway, it doesn't matter. But it absolutely drives me nuts.
Yeah.
If you don't know first of all, what gluten is and why
you shouldn't be. Oh, I mean, I thought that only people who were diagnosed would not eat gluten stuff. I mean, why would you choose to pay extra money for something that you don't really need to buy? If does that make sense?
Yes,
because it's way more expensive.
Way more expensive.
So why would you do that by choice? I mean, if you're going to projectile vomit, then you need to eat gluten free, right?
I prefer not to.
Well, to keep a bit of weight on your bones, you need to do that kind of thing. But no, I just don't understand that at all. Funny you should. I mean, again, the gluten thing is one side of it. A buddy of mine, and I know he doesn't listen to this podcast for sure.
We're going to tag him on it so he listens to this episode.
He was diagnosed with it's not gluten free, but a certain wheat product, but it's nothing to do with the gluten.
Is it an allergy to?
It's an allergy.
Okay.
To certain wheat germs or something like that.
Right.
And he got the symptoms of having heart problems because of this. So this was really weird. And it took the doctors. I mean, the doctors were treating him for an irregular heartbeat and all of this kind of stuff until he eventually went to one of these allergy clinics, and they nailed it down to this, and he's cut it out of his diet. Now he's fine.
Crazy.
So there's some foods and things out there, and this guy was up until, I mean, he's the same age as me, so up until about 10 years ago, in his 50s, he was fine. And then between his 50 and 60, boom, this allergy came
Now
out.
you're just all of a sudden allergic to certain wheat products.
Certain wheat products, yeah.
I imagine that was a pretty interesting trial and error trying to figure out.
Well, it was, yeah. I mean, as I say, he was in the emergency room at one point. He couldn't. He had no breath. He couldn't run because, and then his heartbeat was up and down all over the show. So yeah, it was kind of traumatic for him, and he thought the doctors had got it nailed, but it turned out it wasn't that at all. It was an allergy. So
whenever I hear stories like that, I always refer back to the. Have you seen the Jerry Seinfeld stand-up routine where he talks about the tube and the circle? Where he's like, all you see in these like ads, these for pharmaceuticals, is they describe something with a person who's like this. They have their mouth open, they're facing to the side, and they have their mouth open, and then there's a tube that runs from the mouth to this circle. And that's how all these old pharmacy commercials would be like, oh, you have this like Advil, and then it goes down the tube, gets into the circle, and everything is magically fixed. And he talks about,
I'm back.
No!
Oh, no! Tim's back.
Do you have to work?
I couldn't let you guys do that without me, so I left.
I ate one of your cookies.
I know.
I've been waiting for you to have
I'm drinking your beer.
What is happening? You fucking savages.
Suit up.
No, apparently I'm not on the schedule, so.
Really?
Oh, what? How does that work?
Well, I was trying to drop Sunday nights.
So you got dropped.
So you got dropped. You weren't aware of
Well,
it.
the thing is, she's like, I need 2 weeks notice. I said, yeah, I'll work the next 2 weeks.
Right.
I have this in writing on a message on Facebook. I'll work the next 2 weeks, and then I want Sundays off. But apparently, she does not account to 2 weeks. So I was supposed to work. This was supposed to be my last Sunday, and then next week I was.
Yeah,
So
you were free.
Everyone's like, you're not on the schedule. I'm like, that's fucking great.
Yeah.
I'll go home now.
This is great. Did you go to Canadian Tire and get some windshield fluid?
No.
No.
I was
But you cancelled your whole life because you had to start work at 4 o'clock, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm going to talk to her about it tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah. I would talk to her rather severely.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'll talk to her in person.
For those of you listeners who don't know, Dad would just deal with it and just get mad.
Yeah. Fucking tell him how it is.
Yeah, just tear him a new one.
Yeah.
Well, we can plug a microphone in.
Guys, I'll get out of your way.
Plug a mic in. Come and join us.
Yeah, we've already torn you a new one, so this will be interesting. We won't tell you that we've torn you
We've
a
kind
new
of
one.
finished. I couldn't think of anything, unfortunately, but, you know.
No, you can still keep thinking. Still keep thinking.
You're my boy.
No, he'll actually be here for the roast of himself. It'll be like the roast of Donald Trump.
Very good.
Yeah. So
I'll get
grab a beer,
4 wins, too.
Yeah.
take the weight off. That's fucking funny.
Funny.
What were we talking about? Oh, yeah, The Tube in the Circle by Jerry Seinfeld.
Yes.
And so he always says, he's like, I imagine doctors, this is all they get in med school. Well, here we have the tube, and that leads to the circle, and if it's in there, you'll find the problem. It's in the tube or the circle.
Yeah.
And I imagine they get some people that they come in and they're like, okay, well, we'll let you know. Those people, that patient leaves, and they're like, what the fuck was that? That wasn't the tube or the circle.
It's not in the circle.
Because I imagine, because doctors are just essentially good researchers when it comes to
That's all it is. Yeah,
unknown.
I mean they're looking at a bunch of symptoms, right, or a bunch of clues, and then they try and join the dots, right?
Could be this. Could also be a smattering of this other shit.
Yep.
And that's what I found I really enjoyed about House, the show, TV show House, and I think you did as well. It's because it was unusual.
It is. You haven't watched the new one, have you?
By the new House?
No. Well, yes and no. It's by the same director, producer.
Okay.
Somebody Shaw, his name. I'm not.
I don't know yet.
But it's called The Good Doctor.
Okay.
And it's about a young kind of intern doctor who's autistic.
Okay.
So, and the whole plot line is very, very similar. These weird and wonderful cases come in, and they're like outside of the box, but this autistic guy can think way outside the box. So he manages to diagnose these things, but they show you, like they did in House, they show you the thought pattern. All of a sudden, he joins he joins the dots effectively.
Right.
And basically, comes up with a diagnosis. So it's pretty cool. It's in its first season. I would think it's
Don't touch the space
8
bar.
or 9 episodes. Tim's just walked in. He's going to
Okay.
plug something in. We might all get cut off in a minute. Oh, there we go. I'm out of it.
Right,
So,
and
yeah.
so that's on TV right now?
Yeah, it's on. I don't know. It's on TV. Global. It's one of the majors.
Right.
It's filmed in Vancouver, fellas.
It's filmed in Vancouver as well. Yes, exactly. It's a really good
No,
show.
Tim, I don't think you're
I enjoy it.
recording. You don't have a line.
That's quite possible.
Yeah, we can hear you, but no one else
I can hear him.
We may have to pause for a moment.
Okay,
Okay, we're gonna take a little break. Space barring. How about now?
I think I've done it.
You got it. You got it. All
All
set.
right. Yeah, I was a little too close to it. You're fine there. You can leave it there. Yeah, I was just a bit close.
That was good.
I'm back.
So The Good Doctor's filmed in Vancouver.
Yes,
it is. Yeah.
Yeah. It's actually based in San Jose. It's some hospital in
Looks
San
nothing
Jose.
like San Jose, doesn't it?
Well, you don't see much of the outside of the hospital, to be honest. So God knows where they film it, but yeah.
That was a good segue to a show that I just watched the first season of called Travelers, which I can't speak highly enough about. But that's also filmed in Vancouver, and it's pretending to be somewhere in Washington.
Of course it is.
Yeah, it's pretending to be somewhere in Washington, and it is just blatantly obvious that it's Vancouver. Like at one point, Howe Street is just on the sign behind.
Oh,
them.
really?
It's
They
like-
didn't even try and
didn't like change the name of the street or anything. It's so funny. But yeah, I implore you. It's on Netflix. Watch
Travelers.
Watch the first episode. If you don't like the first episode, you won't like the rest of the season. But watch the pilot for sure.
There's a couple episodes that they like repeat on TV. I've watched a couple, and it's weird when you come in like in the middle of season 2, and you're like, what is going on? Because the concept is very strange.
Yeah.
If you're coming in like blind,
right.
not from season 1, episode 1.
It's definitely not a Family Guy thing where you can just jump into season 6, episode 4, and be totally fine.
Yeah, there's a lot of backstory.
There's a lot of backstory to it.
Yeah.
But it's a very, very entertaining show. Tim, we already did our rage cages, but we'd be more than happy to jump back.
Well,
for you.
when you guys heard my rage cage when I came in, it was a bit echoey, but basically I thought I was supposed to work. This was be my last Sunday working, but apparently it is not. It was last week, but I was not informed as such. So I showed up to work today. And,
I was not made aware.
And you missed the party. I mean, there was obviously a going away party for the Sunday that you weren't in attendance to.
bunch
right?
of D-bags. So I'm a little ticked about that, but I'll bring it up with scheduling authorities tomorrow.
Yeah. Do that.
Yes, I will try and do that and be very diplomatic if I can.
Yeah, I'm sure you can.
I'm certain it's possible.
Yeah.
You fucking kids! Don't you know I've got places to be?
Yeah. Well, I went to the front desk. I said, "Hey, am I working today?" They said, "Yeah, well, you could have just called." I said, "No, I honestly thought I was working today."
Yeah.
Because that's how the arrangement worked. And they're like, "Oh," I was like, "I'm gonna go now. Okay, I'm not gonna stay around any longer." So they say, "Like, do you want to work?" No,
No.
I'm
No.
gone.
Exactly.
But yeah, that's my rage cage. So I'm all set. Thanks, fellas. Appreciate that.
Well, then how
roast
is,
me to your heart's consent?
Okay, well that was quite.
guys already did
quite
that, didn't you?
Wait, what?
You already roasted me.
Yeah, we've already
Yeah.
roasted you. It's gonna be funny because I'm gonna edit this. I'm not gonna let you listen to it until it goes live.
What?
Yeah. So you
Can I
don't
at least
even.
show you how to put on the voice?
Yes, you can show me all this. Don't tell people we're gonna cut that out. We're not
Yeah.
gonna tell.
We're not going to tell them that. Trade secret.
Well, I mean, nothing. Never mind.
No, words. Go ahead.
I saw something this way. I already told Tim about this, and he thought it was quite amusing because it pretty much sort of trends towards his room,
Right.
And basically, it was a older person referring to a teenage or a little bit older child, and they said going to a child's room is like going to IKEA.
Go on.
Interesting, eh?
Yes.
So, you go up there, you pick up a knife, a fork, a couple of plates, a glass, a cup, just like going to IKEA.
It's not funny.
It's pretty funny. I've seen your
I thought it
room.
was hilarious. Is that true, Tim? Is that true?
I'm comfortable in my own space, and I'm not going to defend myself.
So there's one of my little thoughts that I had.
Sometimes I like to eat in my room.
Sometimes.
Most of the time, I like to eat in my room.
One of my favorite things of coming here is going to Tim's room to see what treats I might be
Carnage.
treated to.
Yeah. Mom does that. She comes in. So you got any candy? I'm like, goddamn right I do. but none for you. And here's some reasoning. I don't want to eat downstairs because in that kitchen living room space, it's such an open area. There is not a single particle of warm air circulating through this home. It is honestly an icebox. And people say, Tim, how come you're not cold when I'm at work or I'm outside or something? And they're like, I was like, well, because I was raised in the cold. I was bred by it. I was molded by it.
You really adapted it.
Yeah.
You should know by now, Tim.
Fucking hell.
If you're cold,
Heat doesn't come on till January.
if you're cold, put on an extra.
Put on a
pullover.
layer,
Put a layer on.
you little bastard.
Hey, no sense in throwing money down the road, lad.
Did you bring out the salad dressings yet, Dad?
I didn't know.
Okay, so here's the thing. We've had this ongoing feud about the cream and how milk goes off.
Yeah, and lump.
And lumps. There's lumps in it.
There's lumps in it.
And then 2 weeks ago, we're having dinner, and it's some dinner that involves salad dressings.
Pizza.
Salad dressings.
We're actually having pizza and using it as a...
Using ranch dressing.
Because we had no dip or something.
And the ranch dressing was... It was like a year off or
something...
best before 2016 or 2017.
It was only a year out.
There was another that was like a month old, and we're like, okay, that's not as bad. So he, out of curiosity, he goes into the fridge and the cupboard, looking for more. He finds, what's this? Oh, expires 2015. Oh dear God. Oh, goes back to another one, unopened, expires 2013. It is 5 years old.
But it was unopened.
It was unopened though, so
Remember,
it's still good.
It's still all right. Nothing wrong
good.
with it. It hadn't changed colour or anything.
Didn't have any lumps in it.
It didn't have any lumps in it.
Well, we don't know because we hadn't opened it. If we'd opened it...
Did you actually open it in the end?
No. I
What?
threw it away. He's
threw it
embarrassing
away.
me.
Cowards.
You know what? He's embarrassing me now so much.
Publicly.
Publicly. No, just like, he's making me feel guilty. I'm actually starting to check expiry dates.
I know.
I mean, we all know they're bullshit dates, right?
Yeah, that's what someone raised in the north would say.
No, they are. They're
We
totally-
didn't have expiry dates.
King of the North.
King of the north.
I'll tell you, we don't need expiry
We
dates.
don't need expiry dates. Once it starts growing lumps in it, that's when you
it.
know.
Yeah,
That's
because
it.
it grows lumps. That's how
Grows lumps.
It grows
Because it
lumps.
grows a mind of its own.
I'm not
What you got to remember is when I grew up, when I were a lad,
When I were a lad.
we didn't have fridges.
We had to walk to school uphill both ways.
In the snow. To fight white walkers on the way.
That's right, lad.
The
Winter is coming.
Thank you, Jon Snow. We understand. We get it.
Yeah, but winter is always coming.
It's coming. Winter is here.
So I was actually going to do...
Moving on.
I was going to do a part. It just relates to this, actually. So I was going to do a section. We started a new segment. Shit, our dad says. But since you're on here, you might actually be able to remember the quote properly. I wrote this down. So we were talking about. So Tim and I both applied for serving jobs at restaurants and bars around the city, and we had a few interviews. Tim had more interviews than I did, and was not contacted back for a job at any of these places.
Yeah.
But Tim went for another job interview, and Dad had this to say. I think he had this to say, and I'm quoting, "Well, you don't need tits for that job."
Yeah, I did say that. I did say that.
True.
End quote.
Yeah, there is somewhat of a bias. I think everyone knows it. Females do better in the service industry.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
What?
Yeah.
Except when people want a butler.
That's true.
Yeah, you can have a female butler. That's
A
weird.
butt less?
Yeah, but less, yeah.
Yeah, I don't want any but more, but less, please.
Yes, butt less. Yes, glad. Yes.
So,
Well, no, is that a thing that there are no women butlers?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know, but I watched something on BBC Canada, and it was all about training butlers and whatever. And there were
crazy.
There were no women. I mean, it's not a
It's
dying
like
art.
a man of the cloth. There's no women allowed.
Exactly. I mean, these things are in high demand, particularly in Europe and Britain and so on, you know. People want a butler, even if you're just having a dinner party. They'll bring a butler in for the evening.
I have heard of that.
Yeah.
I bet his
Yeah.
wage isn't cheap.
Oh, hell no.
Oh, no.
No. It's a daily rate, and I would imagine it's pretty
Fucking high.
pretty rich. Yeah.
It's pretty rich. Yeah.
So,
That's good. We can just save these sound bites for later.
Yeah.
It's pretty rich.
Pretty rich. Yeah, but Tim, how was your week?
yeah.
It was all right. There's a lot of snow. Everyone was like, it snowed a lot. Everyone's like, I hate the snow. It's traffic. It's cold. And I was like, what? It doesn't. It snows here twice a year.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal. It melts the next day.
It's pretty.
It's pretty. Yeah, Dad said, look, it's so pretty and white.
That's right.
And I was out there on Friday trying to get some people like, hey, let's go throw some snowballs. And they're all like, no,
they
it's
wouldn't
cold.
do
I was like,
So you waited outside until they finished working and you nailed them.
honestly, some people, I caught one girl on her way to her car because she was like, I'm going home. I'm like, well, I'm sorry, but if you're not going to fight back, then you're just an easy target.
That's it. That's it.
The way to survive getting hit by snowballs is to fight back.
Indeed.
But yeah, that was a good part of my weekend, and I think I'd like to leave it on a high note.
Right.
Tim, tell us more about the shitty parts of your week. How was Black Panther?
Well, I actually liked the movie.
Okay, yeah,
I just said it had problems.
No, it did. It absolutely did.
Like the main character is kind of like,
Yeah.
he's just there.
He's just... Exactly.
He acts regal and everything like a king should, but his supporting cast has more characterization than he does, and the villain is almost better than he is.
I think I like the villain more than I like him.
And I think the best part of the movie was at the end when him and the villain are having this moment. I won't spoil it, but they're having this moment together. You know which one I'm talking about.
Was that the one
the
where...
sunset?
Yeah, the moment. Yeah.
Is that
sunset? Yeah.
That's where Snape kills Dumbledore?
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay, go on.
And like I was like, that was hands down probably one of the best parts of the movie,
For sure.
aside from their duel on the waterfall, because it was like this emotionally charged moment, and like, his dad had told him about the sunsets. This is getting into spoiler talk.
Yeah.
Had told him about sunsets.
I'll put a little spoiler warning before... Spoiler warning.
Yeah. And it was like all coming together, and it was tying, and you kind of see these guys almost like
Bonding.
Yeah, and you're thinking like these guys are pure, like definitely enemies, but they're still cousins, like they're still, you know, related. And
Yeah.
I was like, that's really cool. But again, the main character, you're like, this guy, he mumbles in his African accent, and then he does not do anything else. It's like, okay, all right.
That was one thing I didn't like, was the African accent.
Those were actually reasonably well done.
They were
for the
reasonably
most
well
part.
done, but for someone who's lived there and spoken to people when black Africans are speaking English, it doesn't sound like I know, I'm nitpicking. It's definitely nitpicking, but it just kind of, because it just threw me out of it. Every time they spoke, I'm like, that's not. Yeah. Like, for instance, sorry, I'll let you go ahead. I'm going to let you finish. But Beyonce had the best album. And when Leonardo DiCaprio did Blood Diamond, I thought those accents were very well done.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But these ones didn't really.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Yeah, there was a few things when like they rolled their R's a little too much. And I'm like, okay, that's a bit much. Ulysses Claw was great. Andy Serkis was great as a South African mercenary.
I loved him.
Yeah,
He was so good.
He was very cool.
His accent was on point. He
and
did
he's
a really great
crazy.
job.
I loved how crazy he was.
He was really good.
Yeah.
The villain was probably the best part of it, for sure. You can actually relate to him. You're actually like, yes, I like this guy. Like, he's pretty cool. And his motivations are relatable. Well, the fact that he's a mass murderer is a bit weird.
The fact that he scarred himself every time, that freaked me out when he took his shirt off. I'm like,
yeah, he's a mass murderer.
Okay.
For sure.
Yeah.
But, it was pretty good. The music thing kind of disappointed me a little bit.
Yeah.
Because there was this whole hype around this soundtrack for the movie that you can get on Google Play or whatever. I listened to parts of it. Not like one of those songs is in the movie.
In the credits.
Yeah, in the credits. And
Right.
or like the Weeknd song is in the casino, but that's it.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
and even then, just a little short.
It's a little bit.
Yeah.
And you're thinking like, everyone was saying like the soundtrack for this movie is amazing, and I was like, okay, cool. They're going to use hip hop as the soundtrack. This is so unique. This is going to be really cool.
No.
It's not in the movie.
No.
It's this generic orchestral shit where there's a couple scenes where the strings are like playing really heavy, and you're like, this does not fit the tone or the tension or anything. It was like kind of shoved in after, and I was like, and then it wasn't consistent. Like they had this at one point, they had African tribal drums playing, but at other points they had like this generic orchestral strings music or horns or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, why not keep it all African tribal?
Yeah.
Create this consistency where it's like it's all. There's this one song where this guy's singing towards the end. He's like, hey! He's like, I was like, dude, this is authentic shit. Like, play this throughout the whole movie. Get like one African artist to record the whole thing, and then just use that. But there was no consistency. So that was one of the things I didn't like about it.
In general, it's a fun movie. I like that they did it like Thor Ragnarok style, where they isolated themselves from the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
And that it wasn't like, okay, well, Infinity War is coming
tick
up
all
next.
the boxes, yeah.
Yeah, coming up next. Let's throw in some foreshadowing to Infinity War. So I like that it was on its own.
Yeah, that was cool.
Thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and the humor.
No humor.
Well, there was like some points
we are
where
vegetarians.
It works.
That was hilarious.
Vegetarians was good.
Yeah.
But in the first 15 minutes, I think I talked to Dad about this. His dad's just died. He's going to pick up his girlfriend who's been captured by human traffickers. And they're making jokes about, don't freeze. And I'm like, your dad just died. Okay, the tone is... like, just showed it on a news broadcast that his dad is dead and he is going to succeed his father, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, making jokey fun times with his general. And I'm like, what? No! Yeah. That's not how the tone works. And I think this movie could have really benefited from a really serious tone.
I agree.
Like, I think it could have really... Not the Marvel Cinematic Universe, like, hey, let's have fun with these fucking sneakers.
What are those?
Like, that was a funny joke.
That was a funny joke.
But I was like... Because there are so many other jokes, you're like, oh, yeah.
That one got buried.
Yeah, they should have... The two jokes they should have saved are the, what are those, and we are vegetarians. Those should have been the only
that
two jokes.
Been it.
Yeah. They would have hit so much harder because they're out of the blue.
Yeah.
You know, they're like the serious tone, and then there's this joke, and you're like...
Back to serious.
Also very predictable as the movie.
Well, yeah, obviously.
I keep bringing the stuff. I'm like, I feel like we're tailing off, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I have another thing to say.
I have more opinions.
Yeah.
No, and it was an enjoyable movie.
It was fun though. I did enjoy it.
Yeah, I like his suit the best. I think his suit's
big dude in a
so
cat suit.
badass.
Yeah,
so badass. Vibranium. Dad, did you end up thinking of something that pisses you off about Tim in the house?
No, he's just an absolute angel.
Thank you.
You should have seen the sarcasm in his eyes when he said that. I can almost taste it. Got that eye.
I wasn't looking. I was admiring your hoodie.
Oh, yeah. So what's the store called that you bought this hoodie at, Tim?
Muddy River Landing.
Muddy River Landing. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to go out and get a cool Ladner sweater...
For a lot of money.
For a decent sum of money.
A reasonable amount of money.
Well, I mean, it's like a generic hoodie with a label printed on it, but carry on.
Yeah, Tim, that's generally how fashion works these days. Maybe you misunderstood. We're not inventing new clothes.
That's fair.
They're all generic until they get a label put on them.
Yeah.
Ponchos are in.
You know what Nike is, right? It's just a tick mark.
That's fair. But it's a very elegant one. It's like a swoosh. It's a swooshing motion.
But it's printed on a generic...
Oh, yeah.
product.
It's one of the most recognizable logos in the world.
I think it is.
The Olympics
Indeed,
and McDonald's.
Yes.
Oh, the Olympics. That's what I wanted to bring up. Dad, you were a bit disappointed you mentioned earlier with the Canadians.
Yes, with the Canadian performance in the curling, because I curl and I'm particularly interested in that. So I was very disappointed with the performance all
Both
around.
men's and women's.
Both men's and women's.
What about the mixed? How did that go?
Came through in the mixed. We got the gold.
Decent.
And that's brand new. We've never done that before. And I think perhaps we were a little, I don't know, took our foot off the gas on the other two, thinking, well, we got it anyway, but
right.
It didn't happen.
Yeah.
In
hashtag Murica took
the hashtag America took the men's, and the women's went to Sweden, which is okay. The South Koreans nearly took it, though. So.
Really? Did you happen to see the... so I know on the women's curling team and the men's curling team, there's a husband and wife, I think, or a boyfriend and girlfriend, and there's a clip or a picture of the husband or the boyfriend standing watching his girlfriend play for the Canadian women's team, and he's holding 2 beers.
Oh, yeah.
And it's 9:00 in the morning in South Korea, and apparently that was his 3rd and 4th beer.
It was indeed. I watched that game. It was Rachel Holman, who's the skip of the women's team. It was her husband. He cannot sit down while she's playing the game.
Really?
So through the entire 10 ends of the game, which this thing goes on for like 2 and a bit hours, right? This guy is pacing the stadium with a beer in his hand. And at some point, 2 beers in his hand. So I think he was on more than 3 and 4. He was maybe well down the road by the time.
Yeah.
By the time they got the image. So, excuse me, my voice is...
you can...
it's failing.
How we doing?
How's that? That's better.
That's better. There was a post on Reddit about I think this defines Canada.
Yeah.
And Scott Moore.
Scott Moyer, yeah.
Yelling at the hockey game.
Yeah. What's going on? This is bullshit.
Yeah.
Hey, did you hear this afternoon that the ice skaters are doing they do like a freestyle whatever thing just before the closing ceremony? So Scott Moyer and Tessa Virtue, we're going to do one to the Tragically Hip song.
Cool. That'd be cool.
Didn't see it, but I mean, it'll be, I'm sure it'll be repeated, but that's coming on this afternoon.
Sweet.
So,
The Traj, as you know.
Traj.
Yeah.
Well, it's coming on this afternoon here, but it was probably already done. Whatever.
Yeah.
With the time zones.
Yeah. With all the time.
All the Koreans listening in the crowd, like, we don't understand this music because it's not relevant to our lifestyle.
I don't know what song they would pick.
They told me.
Oh,
but
you
I
just can't
can't remember.
Bob Cajun.
Is it Bob Cajun?
I have no idea.
It's probably Wheat King.
Wheat Kings,
No,
their
it
most
wasn't-
famous
it
song.
wasn't We Kings. Either.
No.
It was. They played it.
Courage?
Oh, I don't know. I can't remember.
So Hard
It
Done
won't be
By?
something that fast paced.
New Orleans is Sinking?
No, it wasn't any of the ones that I know. Right. So it was something a little bit. When I heard it, I knew it. But
Little Bones.
Couldn't name it.
Google it.
I will.
Google it.
Okay.
Right now.
We'll look it up.
We're gonna Google it.
As we're wrapping it up here. Thank you very much for listening. Tim, thank you for joining us halfway through your own podcast.
Yes.
You're
welcome. Thank you.
Are you going to come back on again sometime?
I mean, maybe.
Yeah, you should probably.
How about Sunday next week?
Yeah, we'll see about it.
Maybe not. Maybe you should move it to a different day since he's got other commitments on Sundays.
Well, he doesn't have work anymore. We know that.
Yeah.
So
Ugh. I know.
we don't have to worry about work anymore. But yeah, thank you very much for listening to the Wonder Boys podcast. Peter, Father,
Yeah.
the man, the myth, the legend, thank you very much.
It was fun. It was
Yeah?
fun. We could do this more often.
Say your catchphrase for me, will you?
What's that?
There's no lumps in it.
There's no lumps in it, lad. And if there were lumps in it, then I'd throw it away.
Then I'd throw it away.
No, actually,
but maybe
I'd
not. I
No,
don't
maybe
know.
not. Maybe I'd just mix it
Maybe
up a
I
bit.
just mix it right in. Mix the lumps in with the liquid.
Hey,
Dirty bastard.
let's just before
I'll look it up. Go
before we wind up, right? The lumps thing.
He's trying to justify it.
Yeah, the lumps thing, right? When Tim said this half and half, it's off.
Ugh, God, no.
Okay, I said no, I don't smell anything, so it's good. So then we went on, and I said there's no lumps in it, and all the rest of it. I just want to point out that I continued using that half and half for another week and a half, I think it was, and I'm still alive.
Yeah.
So there you go.
It's a taste thing, Dad.
No.
I'm a very sensitive taster.
Yes, he is.
Okay,
Yes, he is.
we all know this.
He's very sensitive. I think that's just the way to put it.
I'm an
He's a
emotional
very,
guy.
very sensitive guy.
If I taste something that's a little sour, I'll tear up a little bit.
But I'm gonna close out on this one by saying just ignore the fucking sell-by dates because they're all bullshit.
Thank you very much for listening, everybody. Tune in next week where we talk about other useless crap and review movies because we think we're cool.
We are cool.
Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Google Play Music, not Spotify because apparently that's elitist and we don't get to be on that.
No.
But podcast.com, Reddit /r/podcast, and Tim's personal Facebook page, ilovedicks.com, and anything else.
I don't think that's right, but I will let it slide.
Driving's rained out. Weatherman, wet fingers of sky. He pokes it out, he pulls it in, he don't know why. It's the same mistake. It's been a long time running. It's been a long time coming. It's well worth the wait. Don't go anywhere, just on trips. We haven't seen a thing, still don't know if it is. But it's a safe mistake.